Lord,
safe in here?
we're stupid, we understand that, but Lord, please, just get us through this tornado and everything. Lord, that...
Trapped inside a car wash. That's Chris Minnick praying for survival during the Dexter tornado. Thankfully, his prayers were answered. Just one of the many amazing survival stories we're hearing today as we get a closer look at the twister's dramatic path of destruction. Fox 2's live coverage of the Dexter tornado starts right now.
Fox 2 News starts now.
24 hours after nature's fury whipped through a Dexter neighborhood, you are looking at live pictures from Washtenaw County. Tonight we have team coverage of the devastation and the recovery now underway.
Amazingly, no one was killed or injured during that destructive storm.
Officials say that lives were spared because the emergency response system worked according to plan. But look at the aftermath. The tornado destroyed at least 13 homes, badly damaged more than 100. Right now, officials are asking volunteers to wait and let the pros do their jobs first to make sure the area is safe. That means clearing roads and securing down power lines. That powerful twister was caught on camera near Hudson Mills Metro Park. Right now, the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department is working closely with residents to assess the damage and to plan the cleanup. Fox 2's Amy Lang is live in Dexter with the latest. Amy.
It's heartwarming to see how many people are helping one another. You know, the sirens went off at 5:09. The tornado touched down at 5:33, and this is what's left. A hug, tears, the comfort of loved ones amid awful devastation. So many here in Dexter, in the Huron Farms subdivision, sorting through the debris that once was home, salvaging the sentimental, saving something as small as a piece of sidewalk chalk.
There was a picture of my little brother that was very wet. It's at a hotel right now, drying. We had to go to a hotel last night.
9-year-old Madeline Brenton hid in the basement of her home with her father, Roger, and Holly the cat. He had heard the tornado sirens, but never could have imagined the damage.
There was a lot of banging, and I thought our patio furniture had hit the side of the wall, and when things quieted down, I went upstairs, and all our windows were gone.
It's even worse at their neighbor's home. Melissa Loy's 87-year-old father was in here with his caretaker when the tornado destroyed their home.
She heard the sirens and she managed to get him down to the downstairs just in the nick of time. When I think about what could have happened.
Don Smith's daughter, 14 weeks pregnant, was home with her 2-year-old daughter.
Absolutely terrified. With about 10 seconds before the storm hit, they just made it into the basement and the windows came out of the house.
The story is so similar. A siren, a dash to safety, so many lives saved. 100 homes damaged in Dexter, 13 destroyed, but no deaths, no serious injuries. But many stories of community, so many people helping one another. The Red Cross gathering enough food to feed an army, caterers dropping off sandwiches, even donations of dog food.
You take this right now?
And, of course, water for those in need.
Everybody's concerned about helping each other, which is wonderful, and it's wonderful to see that.
And to see that everyone is safe.
I think it's just a blessing. When you look at the path and you look at the physical destruction of those homes and the fact that no one was seriously injured, it's amazing, and we feel very fortunate in Washtenaw County that that's the case.
You can see the folks from the Salvation Army are out here. This has really become a village. There's so much activity. All of the insurance adjusters, folks boarding up homes, clearing away debris. You can see behind me here still going. They'll probably be going late into the night and for the next several days and months. We've talked to some folks who have been told that it could be 2 to 6 months before they'll be back in their homes. Other homes are condemned. It's definitely quite a sight. I mean, you see it on TV, but when you see it in person and you really feel the depths of despair of some of these folks, but the fact is everyone is safe, and that's the most important thing, and people will say it to you time and again out here. It's just stuff. We can rebuild. It's just stuff. For now, live in Dexter, I'm Amy Lang, Fox 2 News.
And Amy, that is the miracle. Nobody killed, nobody badly hurt. But can you gauge how people are doing emotionally after going through this?
I think it's been tough. I mean, we've come across a number of people who've just said, look, I'd like to talk to you, but I don't even want to talk on camera. It's just all too much. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I think that it's, you know, I just can't imagine going through something like this, but the fact is any of us could go through it at any time. You know, the tornado just, you know, randomly it hit here, but it could have been anywhere. And so I think that everyone's just feeling incredibly grateful, but really, truly overwhelmed.
And I hope those people realize that there are a lot of people here in Metro Detroit, around the country, who are praying for them tonight.
I think they do.
The tornado blew through Dexter with winds up to 135 miles an hour. Today, Governor Rick Snyder visiting the disaster zone, thanking local and state authorities for their swift response.
And we're learning from the National Weather Service the full magnitude of the twisters that hit the area.
Weather Authority Rich Luterman here right now with more on these late winter tornadoes.
I talked to one of the meteorologists up in White Lake, and they're the party responsible for investigating the damage and surveying it and then classifying the kinds of damage. And yes, it was an EF3 tornado that went through Dexter, and these are pictures of what went through. It was about 24 hours ago when all of this happened. But nonetheless, very, very lucky that we came out of this with no injuries and no fatalities. Here are the confirmed tornadoes that were investigated last night and today by the National Weather Service. One up in Lapeer County, that was an EF2 storm with winds of 125 miles per hour. There's the Dexter storm, 140 mile per hour winds, and then an EF0 down in Monroe County near Ida, winds there of 85 miles per hour. Now, we talk about this F scale. Ted Fujita was a brilliant meteorologist who studied at the University of Chicago. He came up with this scale back in the 70s, and then it was enhanced just a couple of years ago, so that's why we call it the enhanced Fujita scale. But I put a red arrow next to EF3 classification. Notice the winds there between 136 and 165 miles per hour. We've only had 4 tornadoes in southeast Michigan history in March that have been at that level. So very, very rare to see them this early, and this graphic also reflects that. Very few storms develop with that intensity in March. Now, obviously, our weather's quiet today. We had some fog out there this morning, 72 degrees here. It's going to stay nice tonight with some fog again after midnight, but really, the weather's going to be quiet. A lot of people are going to need that time to have to
they need
clean
that
up.
time to clean up.
Absolutely, and we have mild weather right into next week. We're going to check that forecast after the break.
That's part of the good news.
Big
All right.
time.
Thanks, Rich. In the wake of the storm, we are seeing people helping people. Neighbors, contractors, even local businesses, all pitching in, doing what they can. Fox 2's Robin Schwartz continues our team coverage now. She's live in the disaster zone in Dexter. Robin?
And Monica, we are at the Sheriff's Department checkpoint just outside the subdivision that was hardest hit. All day long, they've been monitoring who is coming and going from here. And all day long, it's been a steady stream of people just wanting to help. March came in like a monster.
Lord, please, just get us through this tornado and everything. Lord, we ask you to help protect us.
And brought down houses in an instant. Mikkel White took cover in the basement while the twister literally blew this stop sign and reduced his house on Wilson to rubble.
And then the walls started like really moving. Got down lower under the steps and waited. And I started feeling wind and water. I turned around and realized the house was gone. I'm blessed to be alive. I really am.
The DJ and musician who lives alone says insurance will cover all the damage. Up and down his block, this was the scene. Neighbors, contractors, police, and volunteers working together to clean up.
This is typical Dexter. You know, people coming together and doing everything we can to help one another.
Even the local grocery store, Bush's, handed out water, served lunch to the whole community, and stayed open around the clock. Bush's also has these huge freezers where they're storing perishable items for neighbors who lost power in the storm. It started last night with a guy with a pickup who had the whole pickup bed filled with 7 boxes of meat. The store also took in someone's wedding photos that just happened to blow into the parking lot. They're holding them at the guest service counter. The twister may have torn lives apart and scattered debris, but it's only brought this community closer together. The fire chief calls it a miracle.
A lot of times you see stuff like this on TV, you're doing body counts, and we're not even doing the injury counts. We haven't transported one person.
And that truly is the best part of this story, that nobody was hurt, not even an injury, not one person transported. The Sheriff's Department says that they're very thankful for all the people who want to volunteer, but they're asking people really not to come to this area right now. They say there's simply too much traffic here. There is already plenty of help, and we want to let you know that they're temporarily closing Dexter Pinckney Road between Island Lake Road and North Territorial Road, and also Wiley Road between Island Lake and Dexter Pinckney Roads for cleanup, and they will be posting detours in those areas. Live in Dexter, Robin Schwartz, Fox 2 News.
Well, Robin, it's so great to see everyone coming together like this, and I know they're working very, very hard. Have police said anything about how long they think this initial cleanup effort will last and when those roads might reopen?
They haven't. They just say until further notice, and they're really doing a great job of keeping us posted about what's happening. We know that utility crews are going to have to repair power lines, things like that. Those types of repairs, may only take a few days, maybe over by the weekend. But as Amy mentioned before, some of the houses we saw, and especially the ones that were completely destroyed, we've been told that could take 6 months, maybe even 9 months to rebuild those homes. So it's going to be a long time before this community is back to normal.
Yeah, long haul, long road ahead. Thanks, Robin.
Taylor Middle School dismisses classes early after a strong odor makes people sick. Robert West Middle School had to be evacuated around 11 this morning after the strange odor swept into the main office. Only office personnel, no students got sick. Fox 2 cameras recorded one person being loaded into a stretcher. The hazmat team conducted tests but found nothing dangerous. The cause of that odor is still under investigation. The district will alert parents whether the school will be open on Monday.
Now to the other big story we're following on this Friday, the tip-off of March Madness for the state of Michigan's home teams.
Here we go. Woody Woodruff here now with the preview.
I am so ready to go, and it's going to be great. The Spartans, Wolverines, and Titans all stepping onto the NCAA dance floor. Detroit Mercy will face Kansas. Michigan meets Ohio, and Michigan State takes on LIU Brooklyn. The Spartans are the top seed in the West, so let's start the NCAA coverage with Jennifer Hammond, who is with MSU in Columbus. The Hammer is live with a preview. Hi, Hammer.
Hello, Woody, and we are about 5.5 hours away from tip-off down here at Nationwide Arena. And upsets are what make the NCAA tournament great. They also give coaches fits. What we'll see tonight is an LIU Brooklyn team that likes to run, much as the Spartans do, but Michigan State also likes its depth.
Pretty much the whole season we played probably 9 or 10 people, so those 9 or 10 people are ready at any given time, whether somebody goes down or somebody, who knows what the case may be. But I think we just have guys who are ready and who have bought into the system and bought into what coach believes in, and he's instilled in us just to, like I said before, pretty much the whole season we played probably 9 or 10 people, so those 9 or 10 people are ready at any given time, whether somebody goes down or somebody, who knows what the case may be. But I think we just have guys who are ready and who have bought into the system and bought into what coach believes in, and he's instilled in us just to, like I said before, just take every game as it comes and not take anybody lightly. So I think it's easy to say that we're as prepared right now as we could be.
But don't think that Izzo hasn't driven home the message to his team that an upset can happen to anybody at any time during the tournament.
First of all, I did say it to the players. We were part of that George Mason. Is it that big a difference, the 3 and a 14? I mean, it's not that big a difference. Anybody can be there. I don't believe that we're ever going to go away from worrying about a 1 in 16, because just like every other seed, it's going to happen someday. I just don't want it to be us.
And already in the tournament, we've seen number 12 VCU beat Wichita State, and also number 11 Colorado win, Woody. So you can imagine that Izzo has mentioned that to his team again today.
Hammer, as was mentioned, LIU Brooklyn is a squad that's much better than a typical 16 seed, and we almost saw top seed Syracuse lose to number 16 UNC Asheville yesterday. How wary are the Spartans about that possible upset?
Well, they absolutely are. And the one thing that the Blackbirds have said is that they feel like they should be a 13 or a 14. They won the Colonial League. It's also a team that averages 80 points a game, which is something the Spartans don't see too often. So it'll be a very entertaining 1 versus 16, Woody.
All right, Hammer, thank you very much. Moving to the Maize and Blue, Michigan will meet the Bobcats of Ohio University. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:20, but Ryan Armani has been going 24/7, trying to stay on top of the Wolverines tournament developments. Ryan's got the flavor in this preview from Nashville, Tennessee.
Our right, we're in Nashville. You can call it Ann Arbor South. We've got tons of Michigan fans here. How you guys doing, man?
Doing great. Ready to watch the Blue win the game.
Now, I got to tell you this, with Michigan playing a night game, we get to see the sights and sounds of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm having a good time down here.
Yeah, let's do it. Go Blue. Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr. has nothing to do with what you've been doing over the last couple of days,
Yeah,
though.
we've been drinking. We've been hanging out. Go Jimmy. Dude, we've been road tripping all around. This is the first time we've been in Nashville, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of Michigan fans here.
Well, we've got a couple of Michigan fans here who live in Nashville
Yes,
now.
we do.
Where are you from originally?
Right up in Traverse City.
Traverse City, and now
Yes.
that's a beautiful part of northern Michigan.
Yes, it is.
And you're here in Nashville, and you were happy that Michigan drew Nashville.
We are. We were very excited. Very excited.
And
Go
you're-
Blue.
Go Blue. You're a Michigan fan.
Yes.
All right. Wait a minute here. You're wearing red. You're from Ohio.
We went to OU, but we just went to the Bearcats game. We're gonna go. I have to go change into my OU gear for later tonight. And to the Michigan fans.
All right, Elvis, we heard from all the Michigan fans who they think will win tonight. What about you? What's your prediction? Michigan? Okay. All right, Elvis has Michigan, too. He just didn't want to speak too loud there. All right, come back with us on the Edge at 11. We'll have a complete post-game report, hopefully a Michigan win as well. That'll do it from here in Nashville. I'm Ryan Armani, Fox 2 Sports. Elvis?
Thanks, Ryan. Too bad Elvis's bracket is busted. The Detroit Titans are also dancing tonight. The 15th seed U of D will match up against 2-seed Kansas. And while the game looks a little lopsided on paper, the Titans are looking to even things out on the court with the father and son duo of head coach Ray McCallum and Titans point guard Ray McCallum Jr.
It's been great for me. It's been exciting because I get to see him every day. I get to be a part of his life as his dad, as his coach. And you know, the big thing he wants from me is to just kind of help him get better each and every day. So it's been exciting. It's been a lot of fun for me. I'm sure he has his challenges, but it's been a great experience.
So everybody's in action, and we'll continue our previews of the Spartans, Wolverines, and Titans in sports. Have your brackets ready later in the newscast.
I'm 13 of 19 so far.
13 and what?
13 of 19 so far.
Okay, so far.
I'm still in the hunt.
But you're fading fast,
Well,
Jewel
all
Perkins.
Thanks,
See you later.
Woody.
All right.
Much more on this evening's big games, as Woody said, coming up later in sports.
We'll also have more live coverage of the tornadoes that hit Washtenaw County.
I hid underneath the stairs in the basement.
Coming up after the break, where she rode out the storm and her surprising attitude after losing so much. And of course, you know she is not alone. Coming up at 5:30, Ron Savage, also live in Dexter, with a closer look at the path of destruction and how those now left alive will try to rebuild their lives.
And our viewers continuing to send us some pretty amazing pictures of the aftermath. Check out this picture posted on myfoxdetroit.com. This is what's left of a large two-story home. As you can see, the side of the house has literally been ripped right off. There's also this wider view from Dexter showing the tornado's trail of destruction. The home closest to the bottom of your screen completely flattened. The house next to it almost as bad. You can check out the full photo gallery of storm pictures on myfoxdetroit.com. We'll be right back with much more. Stay with us.
It's been rough out there. The storm shredded homes and tossed debris everywhere.
Fox 2's Amy Andrews checks in with residents in one of the subdivisions hardest hit.
This Huron Farm subdivision, one of the hardest hit by the tornado last night. A blur of activity right now. Dozens of contractors on scene trying to help these scrappy survivors pick up the pieces.
It's worse this morning than it was last night. I was in shock last night.
Mercedes Barcia was home alone when a tornado ripped through the rural town of Dexter, tearing a 10-mile-long path of destruction.
And I hid underneath the stairs in the basement. And 1 minute later, it was like a freight train going through my house.
With winds whipping at speeds of up to 135 miles an hour, Mercedes clutched her 2 cats and prayed for the storm to pass. When it did, she walked outside to find her home in shambles and her neighbor's home gone altogether.
When I came out the basement, that wall is gone, and I saw him standing there. And I asked him, "Are you okay?" And he said yes. And he asked me if I was okay, and you know, I said yes.
Mercedes doesn't have a scratch on her, but one of her beloved cats is missing. She is, of course, heartbroken over that, but is desperately trying to look on the bright side.
I survived, and things are replaceable. I left my country when I was a kid and had to leave everything behind, so you learn that things are not necessarily what's important to you.
So the amazing thing here in Dexter, no one even taken to the hospital, no one injured in this devastating tornado, and that's what you've got to be thankful for on this beautiful sunny day. In Dexter, Amy Andrews, Fox 2 News.
Small miracles.
Yeah, and you can still hear the emotion still so raw with those people.
It's going to take a while for them to recover emotionally, too. No question about it. But some amazing stories coming out of the devastation in Dexter today.
Weather Authority Rich Luderman here right now with our forecast. Rich?
Yeah, Monica, we should be thankful because there was a lot of active weather yesterday from the deep south up into the Great Lakes. And let's not forget, we had tornadoes on the ground close to Ida in Monroe County and also there in and around Columbiaville. That's well north of Lapeer in Lapeer County. In fact, that was an EF2 tornado. Not a lot of damage there in Lapeer and Monroe counties. Most of it centered around Dexter. And also, big thanks to the men and women at the National Weather Service. They're the catalyst for getting these warnings issued in a timely manner. And they did that in response to what they were looking at on radar. So again, National Weather Service, great job yesterday. Right now, it's beautiful out there, partly sunny, 72 degrees. 72 degrees in the middle part of March, unusual southerly wind at 8. And with those southerly breezes, temperatures continue to be very, very mild, unusually warm for this time of the year. Look at Lansing right now, 78 degrees, 70 in Troy. It's just a bit cooler, closer to the water. Mount Clemens there, close to 60 degrees, but more numbers show 81 Chicago. 79 degrees in Cedar Rapids, close to 70 in Cincinnati. Again, a bit cooler for the UP, but it's March, and that's typical for this time of the year. No repeat today of what we had yesterday. The weather across the central Great Lakes is quiet. One small cluster of thunder showers there to the west of Madison, Wisconsin. That's a long way from us. It stays mild. Like this morning, there'll be some fog around tomorrow morning, but that's really about it for the forecast, down to 52. Tomorrow's another good-looking Saturday, back to 75, and then you'll see some spotty thunder showers in the Sunday forecast. No severe weather expected, but it stays mild through next week. We'll check that forecast again in 20. Hugh, Monica, back to you.
Rich, we'll see you then. Thank you. We're going to take you back live to Dexter for a report on the recovery efforts now underway.
Plus, we are continuing to gather reaction to the state's proposed consent decree for the city of Detroit, what local leaders are saying. And the wait is over. The latest as the new iPad goes on sale across the country and here in Metro Detroit.
Hey. It is CCHA Championship Weekend at the Joe, the second to last ever event. After next year, it goes away because the league is disbanding. Why you need to get down here and be part of the fun before it's all done.
Working for your money on this Friday for the first time in more than a week, the Dow fell. The Dow losing more than 20 points today. The S&P, though, finished higher, its best week in months. But the Nasdaq was slightly lower today. Well, this is the day that Apple fans have been waiting for, the launch of the iPad 3. The tablet computer is now on sale in the U.S. and 9 other countries. Apple started accepting online orders a week ago, but that didn't stop die-hard fans from lining up outside of Apple's stores for hours. The new model comes with a faster processor, a much sharper screen, and an improved camera. Prices start at $499.
Health officials confirming it was the norovirus that caused about 100 people to get sick at the Taylor Sportsplex last weekend. The facility hosting a youth hockey tournament when the players started getting sick. The complex had to be shut down this week so crews could test the air and water. Building also had to be completely disinfected. Norovirus is part of a family of viruses that are spread person to person and causes flu-like symptoms.
The City Council and Mayor Bing's office coming together, trying to put together a counterproposal for the governor's consent agreement. I'm Roop Raj. I'll tell you where they stand right now.
How far away were you when you took this video?
The initial video, we were about 300 yards. It actually dropped down and formed right in the woods, actually where we were playing disc golf earlier.
Well, were you using your cell phone camera? You heard it and saw it first right here on Fox 2. The man who videotaped this incredibly close encounter with that tornado in Dexter. It's one of many videos that you can see on our website right now, myfoxdetroit.com. Our live coverage of the tornado continues ahead at 6.
Amazing video shot by a Fox 2 viewer. Take a look. This is the tornado as it was forming in Dexter. Mary Goshman says she recorded it from her front porch. That tornado left entire neighborhoods absolutely devastated, but amazingly, no one was hurt.
Tonight, the cleanup is underway, but the recovery could take weeks or months for some families. Fox News' Ron Savage live right now in Dexter with more. Ron.
Hey guys, I'm just hearing from the fire department that the National Weather Service is clocking these speeds at this tornado at 140 miles per hour. Very powerful storm. Anytime a tornado hits a house in any neighborhood, you're going to see the